Hi friends, it's Julie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my spooky fall TBR video for you guys. I had a few of you ask me which scary books I was planning on reading over the next few months, so I thought it was about time that I filmed this video, seeing as how October is just a few days away. I cannot believe this year is just flying by, but this is my favorite time of year. I just get in the mood for everything horror and thrillers and things like that, and so that's really what I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the year, with a few other, like fantasy and like sci-fi stuff thrown in there. But I do have a pretty big stack of books that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm really hoping that I get to all of these over the next few months, like fingers crossed. I think I can do it. But the first book I have is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shaun. I know that I've talked about this book a few times already on my channel, but I still haven't gotten to it yet, which I don't really know what's wrong with me. I loved Every Heart a Doorway so much. Like, I rushed out and bought the second book like as soon as I finished that one. And this is the second book in the Wayward Children series, but it's actually more of like a prequel to Every Heart a Doorway. In this book, we follow Jack and Jill, who are two characters that we met in the first book, and we get to go with them as they go into their world for the first time. So it's like a prequel to the other one. And their world is supposed to be pretty dark and creepy, and so I think that this book is just going to be perfect to read in October, and I'm just so excited to get back to these characters in this world, and I just know that I'm going to love this. Up next is a thriller, and that is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. Now, this book doesn't have the best reviews on Goodreads, but two of my favorite ladies here on Booktube, Rachel and April, have both read this book and really, really enjoyed it. And hearing them talk about it made me want to go out and pick it up. And I actually checked this book out from the library like a month ago, and I still haven't read it yet because I've just been in such a big reading slump, but I really want to get to this book very soon. I'm so excited to read it. And all I really know about this book is that it involves a couple. I believe they're going on like a vacation or a journey or somewhere like that, and they're in the car, and that's really all that I know. But I've heard that it's very suspenseful, and April said it was pretty creepy, so I'm really hoping that I love this one. Another thriller I would like to get to is Under the Harrow by Flynn Barry. Now, this book I actually picked up in a bookstore when I went up to visit Katie from Life Between Words, and we went to this really awesome little mystery bookstore, and actually one of the ladies who owns it was kind of listening to Katie as we kind of perused, the shelves, and she heard me talking about how I really like dark thrillers, and she came over to me and just handed me this book and was like, you have to read this. It's so dark, and I think that you're absolutely going to love it. And so, of course, I had to buy it, and now it's been sitting on my shelf for almost a year, so I really need to get to this one. And all I know about this book is it's about two sisters, Nora and Rachel, and one day Nora goes over to Rachel's house and discovers that she's been murdered, and so she becomes really obsessed with, figuring out what happened to her sister, obviously. And as she kind of dives into everything, she discovers that her sister was keeping some secrets from her, and that's it. So it sounds kind of similar to maybe some other books that I have read or, have read about, but since it comes so highly recommended, I'm really excited to get to this one. And it's very short. It's only like 200 pages, so I should just be able to fly through it. And the last thriller that I have on this list is Heartsick by Chelsea Kane. And this is actually a glimpse into my upcoming book haul video for you guys. There was a huge used book sale, and I went kind of crazy, and I found this one there, which this one has been on my TBR on Goodreads for like over a year. So when I found it, I was like, man, I definitely have to get it. It has pretty good reviews on Goodreads. Now, this story is about this detective named Archie who was like searching for this serial killer for like 10 years, this woman named Gretchen, which is kind of interesting that it's a woman serial killer. But anyway, he was been searching for her for like 10 years, and she actually finds him, and she like kidnaps him and tortures him for like a week, and then decides to let him go and turn herself in. So Gretchen is now in prison, and we see Archie as he's trying to kind of get his life back together. Everything that happened to him really messed him up. He's like addicted to drugs and stuff now, but he's thrown in on this new like serial killer case. So I'm thinking that maybe he's going to ask Gretchen for help or something along those lines. And it seems like he might have like a little bit of Stockholm syndrome. I don't know. I've never read a book with this like type of premise before, so I'm really excited to check it out. Like I said, it has pretty good reviews on Goodreads, so I'm hoping that I enjoy it. I've never really heard anyone talk about it here on Booktube, so I'll let you guys know what I think. Then up next, I have Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I read my first Agatha Christie book, which was And Then There Were None, last year in October, and I really enjoyed it. I flew through it. I loved the cozy mystery. I didn't figure it out before the end. It was so much fun. So I knew I wanted to read another one of her books, and I knew I wanted to read it in October. And this one is perfect because the movie adaptation is coming out in November. So I'm really excited to read this one. I'm sure I will just fly through it. I've heard very, very good things about this one too. Then I also wanted to put a little bit of nonfiction on this list, so I have Devil in the White City by Erik Larsson. And this is actually another book that I picked up when I was visiting Katie. She recommended this to me because she knows I love anything having to do with serial killers. And this is about the serial killer H.H. Holmes, who used the World's Fair in Chicago in 1893 as his backdrop for his victims. And he murdered a lot of people. And I knew that I really wanted to read this after she told me how much she enjoyed it. They're adapting this one into a movie as well, and it's going to star Leonardo DiCaprio, I know. And then also I was talking to Shaun from Eclectic Reads, and he said there is some sort of series on I believe the History Channel or something, where a relative of H.H. Holmes, I believe his grandson or great-grandson or something along those lines, I could be wrong, but he is convinced that H.H. Holmes was actually Jack the Ripper, and that's what this whole series is about. And I love Jack the Ripper theories. I just find them so fascinating, so I can't wait to dive into this book. I'm sure that I will absolutely love it. And the last two books I have on this list are horror novels, and the first one of those is one you probably saw in my 5-star prediction video, and that is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I think it's about time that I read this book, and I will definitely be picking it up in October. I can't believe I've never read it. I love horror so much that I feel like I should have read this one by now, and I really, really hope I love it as much as everyone else seems to. I feel like I have quite a bit of pressure now. And the last book that I have is Growth by Jacobson. And this is a book that I picked up when I was in Chicago visiting some Booktube friends. We went book shopping, obviously, and I found this one in a little bookstore. And it's by a local, Chicago author. And it just sounds absolutely terrifying, something that totally would freak me out. It's about some sort of genetically modified pesticide that was put onto corn, and then when people ate the corn, this weird fungus grew inside of them and ended up eating them from the inside. Just those types of things just absolutely terrify me. I'm sure it's probably going to be pretty graphic, maybe some body horror in there. I don't really know anything about it. This has hardly any reviews on Goodreads, but the ones that it has are pretty good. So I'm excited to read it and let you guys know what I think, but I think that probably this is just going to be absolutely terrifying to me. It kind of has a little bit of a feeling like The Troop, maybe a little bit. I mean, completely different, but also I'm getting some of the same vibes. So we will see. You guys know that I loved The Troop so much, and so I cannot wait to check this one out. But those are all of the scary books that I plan on reading over the next few months. Like I said, I'm sure there are going to be some other ones thrown in there or some of these taken out. But those are my reading plans. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought about them, or if you are planning on reading any scary books for October. I would love to know what those are. But I think that's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again very soon. Happy reading. Bye.